Have you ever stopped and wondered what really goes on inside your head when you decide to buy something? Turns out, it's way more than just, I want that. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden psychology that steers our decisions. Let's dive in.
So to get us started, just humor me for a second. Try to picture the very last thing you purchased. You got it? Okay, hold that image in your mind.
Maybe it was your morning coffee, right? Or maybe you downloaded a new app. Or hey, maybe it was that pair of shoes you've been looking at online for weeks. Whatever it is, just keep it right there.
Because here's the thing, you didn't just buy it. You actually went on this surprisingly complex little journey in your mind. A journey that was guided by a whole mix of needs, emotions, and hidden habits that, honestly, shape almost every single choice we make.
So, where does a journey like that even begin? Well, it all starts with a spark. That first little moment is all about what we call triggers, our needs, and what actually motivates us to do something about them. Okay, so here's the classic playbook for how a purchase decision usually goes down. It starts with a trigger. That kicks off a search for options, then we compare the alternatives, we make the choice, and finally, we think about whether we made the right call. So, let's walk through this together.
Literally every purchase you've ever made started with a trigger. Sometimes it's super practical and obvious, like your phone screen shatters. But other times it's completely emotional, like buying a new outfit because you want to feel more confident before a big meeting. And behind every single one of those triggers, there's an even deeper motivation. And they pretty much all fall into two big buckets: the practical, functional reasons, and the emotional ones, which are, frankly, way more powerful.
So you've got your functional motivations on one side, things like saving time or just solving a problem. And then you have the emotional stuff, which is all about how we want to feel, right? Safe, smart, in control. And the reason that emotional side is so important is because it taps into our identity. Think about running shoes. The functional motivation is, comfort, support. But the emotional reason, that's about becoming someone. I'm a runner. I am a healthier person. That's the story we're buying, and it's that story that usually closes the deal.
So, once that motivation gets sparked, functional or emotional, we hit a kind of crossroads. And this is where we run into that little bit of anxiety, what marketers call buyer's risk. It's that nagging voice in your head that says, what if I make the wrong choice?
And what are we so afraid of? Well, wasting money is the obvious one for sure. But we also worry about just picking the wrong thing, or maybe being judged by other people for our choice. We're scared of losing time, or the worst, having to deal with awful customer support down the road. These are huge psychological hurdles.
So, how do brands help us get over that fear? They work really hard to build trust, and they use some pretty specific tools to do it. Think about it. Online reviews, money-back guarantees, videos that show you exactly how the product works. All of that is designed to just lower our anxiety and make us feel safe.
But even with all of that, sometimes we're still just not sure. We're on the fence. And when that happens, our brain has this amazing, super powerful shortcut it just loves to take. And it all boils down to this fundamental human instinct. When we are uncertain, we look at what other people are doing. I mean, it's basically a survival mechanism that's wired deep into our brains. If everyone else is doing it, it must be the safe thing to do.
And this incredibly powerful instinct has a name. It's called social proof. And trust me, once you know what you're looking for, you will see it absolutely everywhere. It's one of the biggest influences on how we decide.
Social proof comes in all shapes and sizes. You see it in star ratings and reviews. Obviously, those are everywhere. But it's also in testimonials from happy customers. Or something as simple as a really crowded restaurant. You've been there, right? One restaurant is empty, the other has a line out the door. Which one do you trust? Our brain takes that cue and goes, wow, if all those people pick that one, it has to be good. It's the ultimate shortcut to building trust.
Okay, so we've been talking about this big, complicated decision-making journey. But what if I told you that for most of our purchases, we just skip that whole thing completely? We take an even faster shortcut. We just switch on the autopilot. Because the truth is, most of what we buy isn't some huge, dramatic decision. It's just a routine. Our brains are all about efficiency, and they love, love, love to form habits to save mental energy. So what turns a choice into a habit? Well, it needs to be easy, familiar, reliable, and just plain convenient. A perfect example is a coffee subscription. You don't sit there every morning weighing the pros and cons of your coffee beans. No, it just shows up at your door. The decision is already made. That brand has become a totally seamless part of your daily routine. Now, look, I know it can be tempting to see all of these psychological tools and think it sounds a little manipulative. But from a brand's perspective, the goal really isn't to trick people. The goal is clarity. It's about respecting how our brains actually work and just designing a smoother, less confusing path for us.
So, the next time you're about to buy something, anything at all, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, what was the trigger? Was this a functional need or more of an emotional desire? Can you spot the social proof they're using? Or is this just a habit you're running on? Now that you know the hidden reasons, what are you going to notice about yourself?